Hello everyone, welcome to Study IAS exam. Today I have come up with one of the most important topic which is creating high amount of drama throughout the world, that is global warming. So this is the hottest issue of our time. So global warming refers to the long-term rise in the earth average temperature due to human activity, especially the emission of the greenhouse gases. So what exactly is called as a global warming? Whenever we say global warming, it is a gradual increase in the temperature of the Earth atmosphere and ocean since the last 1800. Human activities have been a major driver primarily due to the burning of fossil fuel and deforestation and industrial process. So as we go before, first of all, we should understand what is the meaning of greenhouse effect. In the earth we are living here, and how the earth is sustaining life is because of the greenhouse effect. Some gases in earth atmosphere trap heats from the sun, keeps the planet warm. Some heat comes, some escape, some got trapped. Because of that, we have a Goldilocks zone and we are living here as a comfortable species in this earth. But in the recent year, there is a good amount of temperature rise that is happening throughout the world. So if we go, what are the causes of global warming and how human activities are creating it? So human activities are releasing greenhouse gases that traps heat in the earth atmosphere, that is carbon dioxide, which is primarily responsible for 65% global warming. It is due to the burning of fossil fuel like coal, oil, and gas. Then methane gas from agriculture, livestock, rice, paddies, and landfill, which is contributing 16% of the global warming. Then nitrous oxide from fertilizer industrial process, which is creating 6% of the global warming. Then fluorinated gas from refrigerant industrial products that are creating 2% global warming. Land use changes and deforestation, which is creating 11% change in the global warming throughout the world. So, some of the major greenhouse gases that we have recently discussed are carbon dioxide, that is most abundant greenhouse gas from fossil fuel combustion and deforestation. And in the recent year, the concentration in 2003 is 420 parts per million. About the methane, it is the most powerful than CO2 but it stays for a very shorter time. The concentration in 2003 is 1819 parts per billion. Then comes the nitrous oxide, that is long lasting gas from agriculture and industrial activities, which is creating a concentration of 336 parts per billion. Then fluorinated gases are there, which are synthetic gases with very high warming potential, which is having around 0.56 parts per billion of the concentration in the atmosphere. Okay, so if we see here about the history and the temperature trend, you can see here from 1880 to 2020. So you can see the temperature is not rising much, but after year 2000 there is a sudden steep increase. Like in 2016 there is a sudden 1.1 degree Celsius increase in the temperature. Then as we move on in 2023, the temperature rise is 1.48 degrees Celsius. The average temperature of the earth has increased by 1.48 degrees Celsius. So if we go by the key milestones from 1850 to 1900, we call it as a pre-industrial baseline. In 1930, scientists has warned about the carbon dioxide warming effect because during that time industries are releasing a lot of fossil fuel gases. Then in 1979, there was a first World Climate Conference that has happened. In 1988, IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, formed by United Nations. Then in 1997, a major breakthrough has happened with the help of a Kyoto Protocol adopted. In 2015, which is yet another milestone where Paris Agreement has been adopted, which states that we need to limit the temperature of the Earth by 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. In this, 196 countries have participated. In 2003, which has been called as the hottest year on the record. So if we go by some important facts, the last 9 years, that is 2015 to 2023, are the hottest on record. 2023 was about 1.48 degrees Celsius warmer than the pre-industrial level. Carbon dioxide level are higher now than any time in at least 2 million years. So what are the comparison that we wanted to do then and now. Like if we are taking the some of the factors in trend, so you can see here factors are first global average temperature. Pre-industrial level, it is 13.7 degrees Celsius, but in 2023 it has rise to 14.9 degrees Celsius, or there is a change of 1.48 degrees Celsius. CO2 concentration has doubled from 280 to 420, that is change in the 50% of the rise. The sea level has rise to more than 20 centimeter, and that all change has happened from 1901 to 2023. The Arctic sea level extent earlier was 7.5 million square kilometer, which has now been reduced to 4.2 million because the rest of that bean has been converted into water. There's a loss of 44% of the ice cover. Extreme weather events were less frequent in pre-industrial level, but now they are much more frequent. Ocean acidification was lower in the pre-industrial level, but now it is 30% more acidic. The oceans are more acidic right now. Now, the sea level rise has happened earlier in 1900, it was 0. We are taking at a baseline, but in 2025, there is a rise of 20 to 25% of the sea level, 25 centimeter, which is very very high as per the global standard. Now global temperature projections are being there, so if we go by that, so into 2100 compared to pre-industrial level, so if we are not taking any strong action regarding the global potential, so our temperature rise by the end of the century will be more than 2.7 to 3.1 degrees Celsius, which is very very catastrophic. If we follow the Paris Agreement, net determined contributions are there. If we are able to follow that, our temperature will be limited to 2.1 to 2.6 degrees Celsius. And if we take very very stronger actions, so our temperature will limit to 1.3 to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is under the prescribed limits. So these are some of the important data and facts from the IPCC AR 2021. Now, what is the impact around the world? So if we go by the impact, we can see here that in the North America, we are seeing more heat waves, wildfires in US and Canada. There were stronger hurricanes and melting of the glaciers that are happening. If we move into the South America, we can see Amazon rainforests are at risk. More drought and floods, threats to agriculture fields are happening. Then in the Africa, the rise in temperature, droughts, water scarcity, food insecurity, health challenges are being one of the important factors. Then in Europe, we are heat waves, floods, melting, glacier in the Alps, threat to the coastal cities are happening. In the Asia, melting Himalayan ice cover, floods, cyclones, sea level rise threatens the million of people. Then in Australia, more bushfires, heat waves, coral reef bleachings and water threats are happening. So these are some of the impact that the world is facing because of the change in the temperature and because of the global warming. So effect of the impact. So there is a rising temperature which creates heat waves and longer summers. There is a melting ice and glacier which is again rising the sea level water. There are strong weather events like storms, floods, droughts and wildfires. Ocean changes are happening which is leading to ocean warming, acidification, coral bleaching. There's threats to the ecosystem, biodiversity loss, species extinctions that are happening. There is a lot of impact on the human health like heat stress, spread of diseases, poor air quality. Food and water security, again crop failure, water scarcity and hunger that is happening, and economic damage to the infrastructure and loss of livelihood. So what we can do? We can reduce the greenhouse gases emission. We can use the renewable energy like solar energy, wind, hydro. We can save energy and improve energy efficiencies. We can plant more and more trees and protect the forest. We can reduce, reuse, recycle and refuse other things. We can utilize the public transport, walk, cycle. We can eat sustainable food, reduce the waste. We can support greenhouse policy and spread awareness. So solutions are clean energy. We can switch to the solar, wind and other renewable. We can have sustainable cities like green buildings, efficient transport system. We can protect the nature by conserving the forest, wetlands and oceans. We can also do some of the climate actions like stronger laws, global cooperation and climate finances. We can educate, every individual can make a difference. All these things we can do. So there is no planet B. So we can act now before it is too late. So The greatest threat to our planet is a belief that someone else will save it. So we need to change this. Thank you.